What up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Cardinal Red, and we back for some more of that Ali Land boxing talk, people. And today we talking who next for Manny Pacquiao. Alright, people, the AB fight was about a month ago. Pacquiao got a pretty good victory out of that. You know, Adrian Broner didn't really put up a great fight. But Manny Pacquiao, although he had the flu and a scratched eye, and you know, just should have turned that off. And you know, pretty much everybody was against him, saying he's old, saying he's washed up, saying he should just retire. Still was able to score the victory and retain his belt. So the question now is, who next for Pacquiao? You know, who's Pacquiao's next fight going to be against? Will it be a welterweight? Will it be, one of the PBC young guys? Will it be somebody unexpected? Will it be a top-ranked fighter? Could it possibly be Canelo? I think the only guy I really haven't touched on and who could be a surprise opponent for Manny Pacquiao is the other star over at Top Rank Boxing, Vasyl Lomachenko. I just feel like at this point, everybody wanted to see the Pac-Vasyl fight, when both guys were on Top Rank. And everybody wanted to see the Crawford fight whenever, when both guys were on Top Rank. And we never got to see either one of those fights. I feel like the Vasyl Lomachenko fight didn't happen because it would have been just too much for him to drop down and wait and then try to come back up, especially trying to drop down to 130 or 135 and then possibly still be active after that. And so it just wasn't. It could have been, the Lucas Matisse fight could have been the Vasyl Lomachenko fight, but I think he already knew that he was going to sign that contract with PBC. And he just didn't want to have to go down and wait and then try to come back up and wait. So I feel like there is a possibility now, though, because Pacquiao does have a welterweight belt. There's no need for him to keep having to campaign at welterweight if he's not planning on being around, in boxing for much longer, maybe a year and a half. And if he's only going to have one more fight, I feel like actually Vasyl Lomachenko would be a pretty good cash-out fight. I think at 100, it would have to be at 140 pounds, maybe not at 147, but maybe 140 pounds, even though it would be great for Pacquiao to possibly take the 130 pound, I believe he has either the 130 pound or the 135 pound title from Vasyl Lomachenko, have two different belts in two different weight classes, and then retire. How many guys can say that they pulled that off? And at 40 years of age, that would be pretty spectacular. I actually think that fight would draw in a pretty good fan base. I think that fight is very sellable on pay-per-view. We all know Bob Arum. He knows how to sell a pay-per-view. Although he's not the most up-and-up guy in the sport of boxing. He's not the most trustworthy promoter. I don't think Pacquiao has to worry about that part anymore, being that he has his own promotional company, being that he is connected with PBC now, and being that there would be 3 lawyers in the room instead of just a top-ranked lawyer and a representative for Pacquiao. So I feel like the negotiations would be a little more favorable toward Pacquiao. I feel like that's unlike some of these PBC fighters. I don't think he would be stuck with a $10 million payday for a fight that could possibly ruin his legacy. Fighting a Thurman, a low level, I feel like he's a lower level fighter, and I know a lot of people like Thurman, but I feel like he's a lower level fighter compared to Pacquiao, and for Pacquiao to take a loss to Thurman would really hurt his legacy. even a guy fighting a guy like Porter and losing to Porter could really hurt his legacy. But I feel like if he was to fight Vasyl and lose, even if he lost fighting Vasyl Lomachenko, he would still retain his welterweight belt, so he could still retire as a champion. And depending on the fashion in which he lost, if he lost to Vasyl, it wouldn't hurt him as much as a loss to one of these welterweights would hurt, because his belt would be on the line. And not only that, I feel like those guys are just not, Porter, Thurman, Danny. I'm not going to throw Mikey in there. I feel like Mikey and Spence are the top guys at PBC at welterweight. Even though Mikey's just now moving up, Mikey's a very strong 130-pound fighter, 135-pound fighter. So he's one of the next guys at welterweight, win or lose versus Errol Spence. And I just feel like that Vasyl Lomachenko fight is a money-making fight. And, with the possibility, like I said, of Pacquiao picking up a couple of new belts and then being able to retire and saying, I'm the only guy who's 40 years old who retired as a champion in 2 different weight classes, would be a pretty amazing feat for Manny Pacquiao. And a pretty good way for him to end his career and to retire on and make a little bit of money. It's not as big of money as a Canelo fight would be. That's a 25, 30, maybe $40 million fight. A Vasyl Lomachenko fight might draw him 15. It might draw him $20 million, which will put him back up there where he deserves to be at, around that $20 million mark. The problem with that fight would it have to be at a catch weight, or would Pacquiao have to take a step down and be the B-side because Vasyl Lomachenko has the belts? I think that would be the only drawback within that negotiation of that fight, and I don't think it would work at a catch weight. I think Pacquiao would have to go down and campaign for those belts. And that would be the only way that it would be really a sellable pay-per-view. Let me know what you guys think down in that comment section. Hit the like button for me. Please subscribe. If you want to be part of the Ali Land Boxing Talk community, you can leave me a comment down there, man. Or you can head over to the community section and drop me a line over, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you know any homeless people, man, 1 minute in your life and some leftovers could really change your life, man. So give up a minute to change your life. If you ain't got nothing else to talk about, tell me about boxing. Ali Land Boxing Talk, Cardinal Red, and we out of here.